I could ask the very same question.
I'll answer the question. I looked the man in the eye. I found him to be very straightforward and trustworthy. We had a very good dialogue. I was able to get a sense of his soul. He's a man deeply committed to his country and the best interests of his country. And I appreciated so very much the frank dialogue. There was no kind of diplomatic chit-chat trying to throw each other off balance. There was a straightforward dialogue. And that's the beginning of a very constructive relationship. I wouldn't have invited him to my ranch if I didn't trust him. Secondly, I appreciated the opportunity to be able to talk about a new relationship. And we will continue these dialogues. The basis for my discussion began with this simple premise, that Russia and the United States must establish a new relationship beyond that of the old Cold War mentality. The Cold War said loud and clear that we're opponents and that we bring the peace through the ability for each of us to destroy each other. Friends don't destroy each other. People who cooperate do not have a basis of peace on destruction. Our nations are confronted with new threats in the 21st century. Terror in the hands of what we call rogue nations is a threat. I've expressed my concern, and so did the President, very openly, about nations on his border and nations that can't stand America's freedoms developing the capacity to hold each of us hostage. And he agreed. I brought up concerns about Iran. And I'm hesitant to put words in the President's mouth, but he said he's concerned as well. I think that's accurately categorizes your position. And we'll work together to stop the spread of weapons of mass destruction. And I believe as we go down the road that we'll be able to develop a constructive relationship as to how to use our technologies and research and willingness to keep the peace in a way that makes the world more peaceful. I was so pleased that we were able to begin constructive, real dialogue between our Secretary of Defense Rumsfeld and Mr. Andrei Ivanov. These will be fruitful discussions. And I believe what people will see is a strategy, a joint strategy. The President's a history major, and so am I. And we remember the old history. It's time to write new history in a positive and constructive way.